Hello everyone, this is Harry. In this issue, we have an American action comedy film starring Stallone. Tango and Cash. Ray Tango was a cop on the west side of Los Angeles. He had cracked many cases and caught countless criminals. Recently, he discovered the huge smuggling chain of drug trafficking groups. After 3 months of investigation, he finally locked down the tanker truck transporting drugs. However, during the chase, the target ran out of his jurisdiction. But Tango always went his own way and didn't care about the rules. In his eyes, only solving cases and arresting criminals. To avoid local police meddling in bad things, Tango made up his mind and shot in front of the truck. The driver didn't want to die, so he had to make an emergency stop. As expected, the local police arrived and found nothing wrong. Even angrily accused Tango of making trouble for nothing. Tango didn't retort. He fired directly at the tank. Saw heroin gush out ceaselessly. Everyone shut up. Gabe Cash in the East Side was also a fierce police who had made remarkable achievement. Since then, he and Tango had been fighting for the first place. If there was Tango on one side of the paper, there must be Cash on the other side. The two men's bravery made the criminals in the East and West areas lose heart. It was also a headache for the black boss of the criminal gang. Tango's destruction of the drug chain alone costed the black boss $100 million. In order to remove these two stumbling blocks, the black boss came up with a plan to ruin their reputation. The next day, the black boss sent a killer to assassinate Cash. After being arrested, the killer confessed under Cash's extortion. His master would have an arms smuggling deal tonight. Soon, Tango's captain also heard the gang's intelligence. At night, Tango and Cash hit each other when they were tracking the bodyguards of the black boss. But at present, they put aside their quarrel and worked together to solve the case. When they rushed into the trading scene, they found that the bodyguard was missing. The trader was already dead. Just then, the police in charge of the area broke in and arrested them. The two tried to argue, but the evidence at the scene showed that they were suspected of murder. Because the weapon that killed the trader was Cash's pistol on the floor. Obviously, the black boss had an inside line in the police station. And the police who arrested Tango and Cash had been bribed by the black boss. The police claimed that the dead man was an undercover of the police station. The wiretap he was wearing left important evidence of Tango and Cash's drug trafficking. In court, the bribed expert insisted that the recording was not a forgery. The bribed policeman said he saw Tango and Cash killing that man. The killer pretending to be arrested also lied that it was Cash who beat him up and forced him to cheat. The evidence was solid. Tango and Cash couldn't escape sanctions. The transformation of heroes and criminals had been widely reported by the media. It caused the public to question the integrity of the police. Their lawyers were unable to save the situation, so they had to plead guilty. Tried to be lenient and went to light prison for a period of time. So far, there was no good way for them. Then they made an uniform statement and pleaded guilty in court. In the end, Tango and Cash were sentenced to 18 months in prison. However, the black boss didn't intend to let them go easily. He knew that cutting grass didn't get rid of roots, and the spring wind blew again soon. On the way to prison, the black boss bribed the prison guards to change trains on the way. Sent him to a maximum security prison. Half of the prisoners here were arrested by Tango, the other half was arrested by Cash. That night, the black boss bribed the prison guards. Brought these angry prisoners together. Tied up Tango and Cash when sleeping. Facing with the angry prisoners, they were at a loss. They understood that they couldn't survive if they didn't get out of the siege. Before being torn apart by angry prisoners, the two took the lead in fighting against the thieves. But they had only 4 hands, no matter how brave they are. After all, he was outnumbered and soon caught by the criminals. They were hanged in the pool, alternating with electric shocks. Criminals took this as a pleasure to see who would die first. Just when thought they were going to die, the assistant warden Sikorsky suddenly came in. Turned out that the assistant warden was Cash's former commanding officer. As soon as he received the news, he came to rescue Tango and Cash. He was very worried about his apprentice's situation. The black boss would never give up, and the prisoners wouldn't let Tango and Cash go. But Sikorsky couldn't always protect Cash all the time in the prison. Their only way to survive was to escape from prison. Sikorsky would arrange a job for them and prepare tools. Then they could open a public well in the yard to go out. Waited for Sikorsky to turn off one of the fans and open the ventilation door. They would be able to go down the well to the outside of the prison. However, Tango didn't want to believe Cash's former commanding office. He thought it might be another trap. But Cash and Sikorsky had been together for 15 years, and they trust each other. So Cash went on his own. The escape went well. Cash entered the shaft. Safety passed through the stopped fan and ventilation door. Unexpectedly, as soon as he opened the door, Sikorsky's body rolled to his feet. The bribed guards and prisoners killed Sikorsky. Cash quickly retreated, but the fan had been started and there was no way to retreat. The ventilation door would soon be broken. 1,000 hook a time, Tango came with iron pipe force to stop the fan. They looked at the map of the prison. There was a high-risk escape route. Time was running out, and they didn't have time to make a detailed plan. They climbed over many obstacles with vigorous skills, to the roof of the prison fence. The high-voltage wires here led to the outside world, and they could escape by sliding. Cash's friend once said, as long as it didn't touch the ground and high voltage line at the same time, it was insulation state. Anyway, it was all dead now. It was better to give a try. Then, Cash jumped up and grabbed the wire. Pulled off the bet as a pulley, successful escaped. Tango was about to follow Cash. One of the prisoners who came after him caught him in a chain. Tango couldn't get away for a moment, and others would arrive soon. In an emergency, he deliberately led the prisoner to the high voltage station. Then broke off the hook. Let the prisoner pull the chain, fall into the high voltage station and die. After that, they separated. Tango told Cash, if Cash wanted to find him, went to the Cleopatra Club and asked for Catherine. The next day, Tango went to the police who framed them. Cash went to the perjury expert. But the police fought with him and escaped. Then he was killed by car bomb arranged by the Black Boss. Later, Tango used the code to contact the team leader to meet his sister at home. Fortunately, the expert had not been poisoned. He said he just took money and didn't know who the other party was. But he recorded their trading conversations. In the evening, Cash came to the club to look for Tango's sister. But unexpectedly, a large number of police were also tracking at that time. Catherine on the stage saw the clue. She faked on the police to fight for Cash's escape chance. Then quickly took Cash to backstage. Tried to avoid police by dressing up as a woman. After that, the three met at Catherine's house, but the captain said federal agents were now in charge of the case. He could only give them 24 hours to find out the name and address of the man who led Tango and Cash into prison. The next morning, they went straight to the bodyguard's house and arrested him. The bodyguard had no fear. He knew that as long as he clenched his teeth, they dared not to kill him. However, he knew the ability of the two men. In order to pry open the criminal's mouth, they had many ways. First of all, they played a role to show the bodyguard that Tango was a crazy man. Then Tango stick the grenade to the bodyguard's mouth and slowly pulled out the fuse. The bodyguard was scared to pee. When the bodyguard dried his eyes, Tango quickly teared open the tape. The name of the Black Boss came out as expected. The bodyguard also explained that the Black Boss was now in an abandoned airport. After they got the information, then immediately found Cash's friend. His friend just transformed a chariot with high defense and combat effectiveness. That was great. In the evening, Tango and Cash drove straight into the airport. But unexpectedly, the Black Boss had been waiting for a long time. Instantly opened the combat mode. All the armed vehicles went out to chase the two men and shoot fiercely. There were missiles behind. Even outside the airport, there was intensive fire to stop them from breaking through. But Cash's driving skills were extraordinary, and continued to drive in snake line. Let the pursuers stay in the fire. However, two engineering vehicles suddenly attacked, and the cars were sandwiched into biscuits. They knew the situation was not good, quickly jumped. Separately killed the drivers on both sides and took the initiative. In a short time, all the armed men outside had been removed. But the Black Boss still had a way to go. He activated the building's self-destructor. It was going to be in ruin in 11 minutes. When Tango and Cash got to headquarters, they found the Black Boss kidnapped Tango's sister. The Black Boss's bodyguard hated him so much. He threw Catherine to the boss, ready to kill Tango and Cash himself. But he overestimated his strength. Two muscular men solved him easily. As this time, the Black Boss thought he could control some with hostage. But unexpectedly, both of them were immortal. The Black Boss died after 2 head blows. In the last seconds of the self-destruct countdown, the three escaped from the explosion. Finally, Tango and Cash cleared their grievances through the recording provided by the expert. They also became heroes again for his contribution in destroying the old nest of criminal groups, and returned to the police force. Okay, that's all for this issue. Don't forget to follow and like my videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time.